Hello, my name is Thomas Paine, and I'm almost 290 years old, and I owe it all to clean living. In 1776, I wrote a book called Common Sense, in which I talk about how people should rule and think for themselves. Almost all patriots read it, and I'm called the father of the American Revolution. I think I'm allowed to call myself a patriot. I'm going to record a series of videos on the issues and divisions in the America I love. This video is about guns. Now, people have the right to enjoy themselves with guns, to defend themselves with guns, to protect their animals and farms with guns, and to collect guns. The Second Amendment does give each of us that right. But to be fair, let's listen to people who have been the victims of guns used badly. The father of 7-year-old Daniel Barden, who was murdered in the Sandy Hook shooting, describes his hurt as still almost impossible to bear. The birthdays with him now outnumber the birthdays with him. It took months for his mother to stop calling him in for dinner. At his funeral, she couldn't bear the sight of his tiny casket. The mother of Meadow Pollock, an 18-year-old murdered in the Stoneman High shooting, said, to describe how the murder of my daughter has affected me would be for me to rip my heart out and present it to you shattered in a million pieces. In Norfolk, Virginia, 2 people were killed during an argument over a spilled drink. One who had nothing to do with it. In a drive-by shooting, a mother lost her eye, and her baby was shot in the head. Children experience the trauma of going through checkpoints and shooter drills at school. Another victim of mass shootings is the fact that all buildings, the U.S. Capitol, state houses, churches, movie theaters, and stadiums, will all be hardened in the future against attack. Buildings will no longer be built to be open, inspiring, beautiful, conducive to community and civic pride or fun. But they were built to be safe. Never mind innocent people being mowed down. Do we want an increasingly surveillance society? Some stats, if you don't mind. States where carrying of concealed weapons was made legal, shootings and homicides increased by 11 to 30%. Missouri repealed its gun licensing laws, and homicides rose by 47% and suicides by 24%. In the last few years, Ohio rejected the gun applications of 2,000 people. Laws were repealed, and now these 2,000 people can shoot you or someone you love. California has a better idea. After passing a ban on assault weapons and high-capacity magazines and requiring background checks and a waiting period for gun purchases, California has one of the lowest death rates in the U.S. Conservatives who are against gun regulations claim that the problems are caused by mental illness. Now, of course, there are people abusing guns who are mentally ill, are criminals, or are seeking revenge or fame. But should such people have unregulated guns at all? And certainly not guns that can kill masses of people and are made to kill people. The makers of automatic weapons don't really seem to care who buys their guns. One Illinois gunmaker is making an automatic rifle for children, which is 20% smaller than the one for grown-ups and has a slightly less lethal ammo. But it operates just like Mom and Dad's gun. Cool! Other gun makers appeal to vulnerable young men by saying purchasing their assault weapon would establish the renewal of their man card, or that the faces of opposition would bow down. I guess opposers like first graders and 9 to 10-year-olds. Politicians have joined the gravy train of right-wing votes, even though 77% of Americans and 68% of gun owners would like reasonable gun control. Evan Greeton's running for the U.S. Senate from Missouri has an ad where he calls on fellow right-wingers to get a hunting permit for less extreme Republicans. There's no bagging limit, he says. Senator Ted Cruz claims to be fed up with all the politicking that happens every time there's a mass shooting. 2 days after saying these words, he addressed the annual NRA convention to ensure their support for his career. Republicans give fiery speeches about crime and backing the police, and then guarantee lawbreakers, mass shooters, and attackers of police access to all the weapons they need. Are they really soft on crime? In many Republican states, you don't even know how to turn on safety on a gun, or carry a gun, or even know which end of the gun goes bang. Both police and you and I are at risk. Sounds like politics, or at least foolishness to me. Now, it seems to me that you and I, if you and I want to regulate something or make sure that someone needs a license to do something, that does not mean that you are against that thing. I am not anti-car, even though I'm 290 years old, because I think cars and drivers should be regulated. I'm not anti-surgery, again, even though I'm 290 years old, because I want my doctor to have a license to operate on me. These are some of the responses our Republican friends have to mass murder. Extending thoughts and prayers. What? People have lost real people that they love. Claiming that mental illness is the only cause of mass shootings. Allowing a watered-down gun control bill to pass in 2022. It includes background checks for people under 21, money for states to locate dangerous people, and to found mental health programs. Better than nothing, I guess. Proposals to arm teachers, despite no evidence that it works, opposition from police groups, teachers' unions, and teachers being utterly impractical with impulsive children and ambiguous school situations, being prone to accident, and against an atmosphere of safety and empathy. My question is, should teachers keep their guns with the stickers or on their hips and just be careful when hugging an upset child? Mantras like the only way to stop a guy with a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But from 2000 to 2021, there were 448 shootings, but only 10 shooters were killed by a civilian. The involvement, according to police, of untrained civilians makes the situation more violent than it needs to be, often results in the death of the civilian, and is ineffective, as the good guy is often outgunned by the bad guy. These solutions and mantras ensure that the Republicans look like good guys while showing no intention of changing things. These are all ways, it seems to me, to pretend that nothing can be done about the gun violence in America. We have the deadliest level of violence among developed countries, and we are the only developed country to not have effective regulations, like a ban on assault weapons, whose only purpose is to kill people, and on high-capacity magazines and bump stocks. We do not have universal background checks and waiting periods to buy guns. We do not have a red flag list for people that should never have guns. I think we can do a whole lot better than this. Let's try. Thank you for listening.